Within the greater Cincinnati area, we have 11.5 billion gallons of combined sewage that overflows and flows into rivers and streams. This represents a significant public health and environmental challenge and issue for our community. The Metropolitan Sewer District of Greater Cincinnati has a consent decree to address the combined sewer overflow problems. So the approach that we've tried to take is look for more of an alternative that has some adaptability in it, leave something behind that can bring about a better solution for how we address our urban water challenges.
We need to be making investments that not only solve the goals of consent decrees, but can bring some value to the neighborhoods we're doing work in and bring some reinvestment in communities that have seen a lot of disinvestment over the last few decades, and try to bring back job creation and also population growth for our urban core.
The Lick Run watershed is one of our largest combined sewer overflow watersheds that discharges approximately 1.5 billion gallons of combined sewage into the Mill Creek. It's a very large watershed, 2,700 acre watershed. However, over the last 40 years, there's really been a lot of disinvestment and decline. Much of the corridor is identified as brownfields or is directly adjacent to brownfields, and that has a significant impact in terms of the property value and the utilization of that property, and then the vibrancy of that community.
We have an opportunity to revitalize those former brownfields to use as a part of our solution.
The City of Cincinnati's Office of Environmental Quality assists MSD with evaluating the environmental conditions that have been discovered on these sites. We initially did a Phase 1 environmental assessment of every property, which was over 360 parcels of land. As you can imagine, that identified numerous environmental concerns from the historic operations and existing activities on those sites. Our approach is to reduce potential liability, but also to eliminate risk for construction workers, as well as make sure that the site meets any applicable standards for future use, which might include parks and recreation.
We have done a lot of community input so that we design a solution that the community can get behind and support. And so doing the Lick Run project is going to add to the historic value and the vibrancy of that community going forward.
The Lick Run project is a valley conveyance system. It's an innovative way to convey stormwater through a system that is engineered, but it might look like or mimic a natural system. It also will include some water quality features that will allow us to capture sediment and trash and debris to not allow that type of material to go into the valley conveyance system. Ultimately, over the next 10, 15 years, certainly there's a lot more that could be done adjacent to the project. But it would include some trails, a daylighting feature, as well as some wetlands and bioswales, some green street features to capture and slow down the stormwater and direct it to the Mill Creek.
The uniqueness of our approach is that it's built around a wet weather strategy that we call source control, where we're dealing with the problem at the source. And so we have an opportunity, instead of building a lot of larger pipes or larger pump stations or storage facilities, we can offload stormwater by creating some type of amenity that will address the consent decree goal, but also bring some type of value to the communities, and it's less expensive.
The end goal is to take our investment and implement our solution, try to bring some of those investments above ground through the valley conveyance system, and essentially be able to allow that to be an opportunity for the future that the community can then do some additional improvement around those features as well.
The Lick Run project, the cleanup of the brownfield site, would appreciate property values. A colleague and I, we did a study here at the University of Cincinnati, and we were looking at how brownfield sites do impact residential properties. If a property stood 1% closer to a brownfield site, it would depreciate in value by approximately 0.1%. If you redevelop brownfields, residential properties around the brownfield site would appreciate in value.
We're very excited. We think it's an opportunity that is going to bring dividends to not only the utility, but also to the community and the residents.
The Lick Run project really represents an opportunity to change the game in terms of how we look at and solve our urban water challenges.